Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sports Corner.
We have a great show with you with a lot to talk about. I'm talking the coronavirus, I'm talking basketball, lacrosse, and baseball.
That's right, Brenton, and man, am I excited. I'm Hudson Criswell,
And I'm Brenton Lee.
and Sports Corner starts right here and right now, baby. Now, first up, Brenton, we have the coronavirus. We all know about it. It's going around. It started out in China, moved its way around all of the other countries, and now it's here in America, and it's gotten into the sports world.
Yep. Well, yesterday, obviously, the NBA has suspended its season indefinitely after Rudy Gobert, the Utah Jazz starting center, was, he tested positive.
He tested positive
for the coronavirus.
For the coronavirus.
And it's funny because he was the one who said he wouldn't get the coronavirus, and it wasn't that big of a deal.
Really? He said that?
Yeah, on Monday after their game, they asked him about it at a press conference, and he thought it would be funny to, touch all the microphones and all this stuff. Well, 2 days later, he happens to get it.
And guess who else just got it, Brenton? This is a news update. Donovan Mitchell for the Utah Jazz. One of his teammates, and I would have to say probably the best player on the Jazz.
Yes.
One of the best players on the Jazz. He has the coronavirus. So ever since that, the NBA has suspended their season indefinitely. And now college basketball, at first they were going to play with no fans in the stands and stuff, but now SEC, Big Ten, and the American Conference, they just canceled their tournaments.
And then, that leaves us to question, what are they going to do about March Madness?
March Madness, this is the time when everybody is excited about sports. And now, just everything is going on. They just canceled the soccer league, whatever it is.
Yeah, the MLS, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I think they just canceled Ivy League hockey. Schools are shutting down, so.
Yeah, they quarantined Real Madrid, the soccer team, one of the best, most prestigious soccer teams in all of the world.
I know.
They're quarantining their whole players, and they played. I think it was on Tuesday. The first game was played with no fans, and it was a soccer game. Like, could you just imagine? You're used to a stadium full of
everybody
fans
yelling,
screaming your name.
You're playing soccer in the quiet.
Yeah,
that's unbelievable. And that's how they were going to do it for basketball, but now they're just canceling it. I wonder what I'm sure baseball will be next.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
And baseball season's just starting up now,
baseball season just started up. Opening day was less than a month for MLB, and here we go. So we'll have more on that on our next show. But right now, we would just like to everybody just pray because we want everybody to be safe out there. And,
of course.
Anything else, Brenton, you would like to say?
Just make sure you wash your hands, and let's try to get rid of this as soon as possible.
And we hate you, coronavirus. We really do. Now let's take a PSA break.
St. Jude exceeds any expectation or any dream I could have ever had about a hospital. The first was getting David here to save his life. But then I was told we wouldn't get a bill. I didn't quite process that. How's this possible? It's possible through all the wonderful people who donate. I don't know if they are aware of what they do, but they're saving children's lives every day.
Hudson, let's talk about lacrosse.
Let's do it, Brenton. Now, Hudson Criswell Jr., yes, that's my son. He had an interview with 3 lacrosse players.
Well, let's check it out then.
Let's take a look. No, you don't have to be a part of anything in Nashville. That's 3 hours away, but you still want to. How does that just set out an example for kids? Maybe coming up, playing lacrosse, and just, I don't know, set an example.
It just goes to show, like, you can be anyone and do anything, and you can still help. Like, you don't have to be on a lacrosse team. You don't even have to play sports. You can find a flyer, find some charity someone's doing, and it doesn't even have to be for Nashville. You can go do a blood drive. You can go do stuff like that. Just any way you can help is always awesome.
It is. I know we have charities all around Memphis. We always have the St. Jude Marathon that we do. And just we have a whole bunch of charities, and it's just great, to just help anybody out, any cause, any disease. And I know well, we'll get into that later, what I was about to say. But how does it feel to be able to represent your community through sports? What did that game mean to y'all? Going past, just the game of lacrosse, what does it mean to just play against a team that just had something devastating happen? How do y'all feel about that?
It's still a game. Even though they went through a tragedy, you still got to play. You're not going to take it any easier because they're going to go even harder after what happened to them. But it kind of makes you feel good that we helped them out in the end. Win or lose, they got to go home with some necessities that they didn't have before the game, so it was good.
Like Holden said, it shows, as it doesn't have to be sports like Landon said, but it shows character that even after the tragedy that struck, they still came out, because it was a divisional game as well. It's a playoff game, it's required to be in the playoffs. It shows that even after the tragedy struck, they still came out 3 hours away, come here on turf, don't know if they're going to win or lose against us, because they've won 1 year, we've lost 1 year, they've won. It shows that they can. It just shows the character.
That's dedication. Even though after that tragedy happened, they still come out here and play the game of lacrosse. You know that they love the game. And, I'm glad you guys, still went on with the game and played against them, and, maybe did a prayer before and after the game, praying for them and their families and stuff and all that. But that gets me to my next thing. How did the game go? What happened Friday?
I think we came out. We weren't focused. I think we were more worried about being on the news and stuff like that.
Were y'all on the news?
Yep.
Yeah, they did.
The game was on the news.
We were on Fox.
Yeah.
Fox 13.
Fox 13. Yeah. They did an interview with our coach.
And you could say that the game, they were supposed to win that game because of what happened with Nashville and stuff like that. They obviously came out harder, and they fought harder. And we let that one slip. But, they're great competitors. We played them multiple years now. We've won against them. We've lost against them. And we'll still see them later in the season. And right now we're just looking forward to it as a team.
That's good. And we're going to get to more in a sec. But for now, let's go over to a PSA break.
St. Jude exceeds any expectation or any dream I could have ever had about a hospital. The first was getting David here to save his life. But then I was told we wouldn't get a bill. I didn't quite process that. How's this possible? It's possible through all the wonderful people who donate. I don't know if they are aware of what they do, but they're saving children's lives every day.
Thank you for joining us back here on Sports Corner / Our Town. And if you were here before the break, y'all know that I'm here with 3 seniors on the Arlington lacrosse team, Sam Afani, Landon Zachary, and Holton Foote. And we just talked about how Metro Nashville came and played them in lacrosse this past Friday. And Metro, or everywhere in the Nashville, it was a tragedy. A tornado hit them, and many houses got destroyed, almost the whole city pretty much, and more than 20 people passed that day. And we just talked about what it means to the lacrosse team and to the community of Arlington for having donations, giving donations to Metro Nashville. So now we're talking about the game. So guys, just really, did y'all win or lose Friday?
We lost 8-9.
8-9. Okay. And what do you think happened there? Just with the game.
We just weren't in it. We just weren't. We came in thinking we were going to beat them because for the last 2 years, we've always came in knowing we were going to beat them because we've always beat them. And they just had more spark than us. They had a lot more want than us. And it was a close game in the beginning. We got ahead, slowed down, and then they just put 2 points in the last 5 minutes of the game, and we just couldn't get them back. So,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we got kind of careless because we were, like Holden said, we were up by 2 with 3 minutes left in the game, and then we just decided to slack off. I guess we're like, okay, we're gonna win, and then they just put up 3. Just back to back to back, and we couldn't get them back.
So you said y'all played them the past 2 years?
Yes.
Yep.
So, and y'all usually beat them.
Yeah.
So would you consider them maybe a rivalry from out of town?
Now,
Possibly. I mean, since this is y'all's third year in a row playing them.
yeah, now for sure. You know, having that game, it was a really chippy game. Both sides were getting bad calls by the refs, and both sides we were fighting. It was back and forth the whole time. Definitely a rival game this year. I think we're going to want it back in the playoffs. They're going to want to beat us again in the playoffs. And, yeah, I mean, it's great to have a rival all the way across the state, right, because you don't see them all the time. So
Shocker, the refs sucked. I mean, I feel like nowadays the refs are just not good. I mean, I feel like they're just pulling them out of rec ball everywhere, any sport, basketball, football. I mean,
dodgeball.
It's unbelievable. But anyways, back to the game. Y'all won by 1 point. How did y'all do personally? Or one, I don't know how y'all do.
We lost by 1.
Oh, yeah, I mean, y'all lost by 1.
Yeah.
My bad. How did y'all do personally?
I mean, I came out hard. I got my 3rd hat trick in 3 games.
What
so,
exactly would you consider a hat trick?
3 goals, but I got
Okay,
5
goals.
points in all because I got 2 assists. I
Nice.
thought I'd tried my best, but I could have done a little better. Our offenses, they tried their best, I guess, but then we started slacking at the end.
Started slacking at the end.
Yeah.
Always got to play 4th quarter. Hold it up. I don't know
Yeah.
if there's a quarters in lacrosse.
There is.
There
Fourth
is.
quarter.
Yeah, 4th quarter.
Yeah, like Holden said, they wanted it more. We had a terrible week at practice, goofing off the whole time. Because like you said, we beat them twice 2 years, and we beat them by large numbers too. It wasn't a back-and-forth game. And we came out knowing it was going to be a walk-off game, another W in the column, and it wasn't that. And by the 4th quarter, we were hanging our heads, and they took advantage of it, and they beat us.
The game of lacrosse goes past just playing on the field and stuff. I mean, I honestly think y'all did have a win this past week. I mean, giving donations to Metro Nashville, I mean, that's one of the most caring things you can do, and it really shows the community of Arlington as a whole, and it really shows how much care the lacrosse team really has. I mean, a lot of people might think y'all are hard and stuff, but I mean, y'all's heart, soft. All right. I mean, just giving donations and stuff, and just any final thoughts you would have to add about just this whole past week, the tragedy, anything.
I mean, I just hope they're doing better and hope those donations went to good use and they're just doing better. And yeah.
Landon.
Got nothing. I can't wait to see them later in the season.
Like Holton said, I hope they're doing better. Our donations went through. Everyone's at least feeling a little better, getting their houses rebuilt or whatever happened during the tragedy.
Well, Metro Nashville, we are still praying for you and everybody in Nashville, and we just hope the best, and we hope our donations really did help out because Arlington cares. But we're still going to beat y'all next time in lacrosse, okay? I mean, I guess we could say they got lucky.
Yeah.
Could we say it?
They
All
got
right.
lucky.
I took it
Anyways.
easy on them.
Thank y'all for joining me today. This has been great having y'all, and I'm Hudson Criswell, and we're out. Thank you, Hudson Criswell, Jr. I will see you when I get home. Now, Brenton, the baseball season has begun, as the Tigers' record is now 1-1.
Well, let's take this documentary about how the team is prepared for the season.
Let's take a look.
Let's look at all the sports schedules being played this spring.
Boys basketball, I know, upset. They lost to Houston. But, I mean, don't let the final score tell you how that game went, because it was a close game the whole time. I mean, back and forth, scoring points. Houston might have had like a 5 to 5 point lead maybe the whole game, and then fourth quarter, I mean, it happens. You know, it does happen.
I mean, I'm not one to say that officiating was a problem, but we can both say officiating was not.
Let's just put
the
it this
best.
way: those refs in that game need to go back to 5-year-old rec soccer. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, let's be honest.
But it was a great season for the boys. I mean, they were on a winning streak. They were tied with the best or the highest win streak in Arlington High School boys basketball ever. So, congratulations to both teams, and let's just get prepared for next season because it's coming sooner than you think. Anyways, let's take a PSA break.
St. Jude exceeds any expectation or any dream I could have ever had about a hospital. The first was getting David here to save his life. But then I was told we wouldn't get a bill. I didn't quite process that. How's this possible? It's possible through all the wonderful people who donate. I don't know if they are aware of what they do, but they're saving children's lives every day.
Well, it has been a very fun show, Brenton, I would have to say.
Yeah. Thank you all for watching. It was great.
Spring break's coming up. Everybody be safe. And if you see the coronavirus, tell him Hudson's looking for him. All right? Make sure he knows I'm coming for him. I'm Hudson Criswell.
And I'm Brenton Lee.
Sports Corner's out.